So, at this point in our home learning, many of you have made it to the second stage of the writing process, which we call the drafting stage. In this stage, that means you've taken your ideas from a web and you've started to transform them into rough draft paragraphs. If that's you, you're probably also ready for the third stage in the writing process, the revising stage. But some of you may not be in the drafting stage yet, and that's okay. You can still be in the first stage of the writing process called the pre-write stage, which I reminded you of last week. That doesn't mean you aren't ready to join us today in starting on the third stage of writing, making revisions. In writing, you're probably noticing it's possible to be in more than one stage at a time. That's normal because as we write, we're constantly looking for ways to fix up our writing, and we're also coming up with new information we want to include and changing our minds about ideas we had when we started, like deciding, I was going to say something about blah blah blah, but now that I've started writing, it doesn't seem so important anymore. Writing is super flexible. We can change our minds about things in writing anytime we want, and those changes just end up making our pieces better. So, now that we've established we're all ready for the third stage of the writing process, let's learn a bit more about what actually happens in this stage. In this stage, all we do is revise our work. Saying we revise our work is just a fancy way to say that we're making changes to improve our writing. In other words, we're looking for ways to make our writing better. And the cool part about revising is that there's so many strategies to use to revise our work. But today, we're going to learn one specific strategy called wear a mask because it's one of the best revision strategies to start with. So one topic I've really wanted to do some research on lately is twisters. Now, the author of this book, Twisters, had to wear a mask pretending to be me, or someone like me, to figure out what her reader might be interested in learning about. She had to ask questions as though she was the reader, not the writer. Remember, you're an expert on your topic. That's exactly why you chose it. But you should also remember that your reader will choose to read your book to learn from you, the expert. That means you should assume your reader doesn't know so much about your topic, and your job is to teach them the most important things. So here's my web all about Christmas, and you recognize this from previous lessons. Now, I've already started writing one paragraph, and I'm ready to start my second one. But I know that it'd be easier to do if I knew what my reader might want to know. So, zooming in on my second subtopic called Christmas trees, I see I've already brainstormed a lot of information. So that means I can start writing? No, not yet. Now my job is to look at what I've brainstormed on my web and then put on my mask. The mask helps me pretend I'm a reader who wants to learn about the tradition of Christmas trees and who doesn't already know that much about it. So let's look at the idea of lights, for example. With my mask on, I wonder, what do I do with these lights? Do they go under the tree? Do you place them near the tree? As a writer, of course, I know the lights go on the tree. So my job is to say that. And when I see the words twinkle and color, as an expert of Christmas trees, I know just what I mean. But with my mask on, I ask, I wonder, do the lights have to twinkle and give off color? Of course not, but my job as a writer is to say that. So, wearing a mask, I tried to come up with as many questions that I can to clear up my confusion. Then, I use those questions combined with my web to write a draft of my paragraph for subtopic 2, Christmas trees. So I just explained how to wear a mask to help you ask questions about your web. But some of you have been working away on writing for a week now, so you might be well past your web. If you are, that's okay. This strategy still works perfectly if you have paragraphs to look at. It's easy. Take my paragraph about Christmas time traditions, which I wrote last week actually. All I do at this point is I reread my paragraph, but this time I'm rereading while I'm wearing my mask. As I reread, pretending that I am my reader, not the writer, I just stop and jot, which is a reading strategy you're already super familiar with. When I stop and jot, I write down questions I have and things that I'm wondering. My goal is to ask questions that will clear up any confusion I have with my mask on. So I went back to my paragraph that was all about traditions, and I stopped and I jotted some notes. So I started by rereading my paragraph, and as I reread, I asked myself questions, pretending that I was a reader. So one of the questions I asked is, what are tamales? The second question I asked was, what is a Christmas tree farm? And the third question I asked is, what is a Christmas tree lot? How is it different from a Christmas tree farm? Well, as a writer, I know all of the answers to those questions, but as a reader, with my mask on, I'm wondering the answers to those questions. So, my job as a writer is to now go back and add those parts in to clear it up for myself when I'm wearing my mask. Depending on where you are in writing, you have some different options for today. Option 1. If you only have your web, then go take a look at that, wearing the mask of the reader, and brainstorm a list of questions you have and things you're wondering about. Option 2. If you have a paragraph or many paragraphs, go back and reread those wearing the mask of a reader. Stop and jot any thinking you're having as a reader. Your thinking could be questions or things that you're wondering about. Whatever option you choose, one or two, keep track of your questions about your reading somewhere safe, somewhere you can always go back to look at them later, like in a notebook or a post it you can stick to your work, or in a Google document in your Google account. So set your timer for 30 minutes, throw on your mask, and get to work on your writing. Today, I don't want a picture of your writing. I want for you to get on Seesaw and share 2 questions you can come up with about your writing while wearing a mask. You'll find the link to the Seesaw assignment on Google Classroom. Good luck!